Span p content div, it is equal to div GPT, line height, 0px, font size, 0px. The survey, conducted by the Harris Poll, reports that what keeps many Americans up at night is genuine political anxiety. Rather than issues related to their work or families, respondents said they were most worried about the future of the nation and the current social divisiveness. Almost 2/3 of Americans think the nation is going through the lowest point in its history. As evidence for these unusually dark times, pundits often point to the breakdown of social norms and the disregard for the rule of law. To be sure, these are real problems. Yet, as a scholar and teacher of political theory and literature, I have always been amazed how quickly my students turn to talking about the abstract rule of law, rather than the concrete realities of law enforcement and justice. Are people perhaps so interested in the rule of law because they fear American society is no longer equal and just? Crisis consider the sense of injustice among many Americans that still lingers after the financial crisis and the global bank bailout in 2008. Orissa, consider that many politicians are incapable of addressing or unwilling to address the concerns facing many people, such as inequality, poverty and health care. This disregard for justice for all and the unrest it has caused indicate a profound crisis in the United States. Public officials, it seems, can no longer adequately respond to a series of popular demands. Many people have also lost confidence that this darkness will soon pass, as my colleague George Edmondson and I recently discussed in the introduction to a co-edited book, Sovereignty in Ruins, A Politics of Crisis. An alternative vision for our society is nowhere in sight. Political observers cannot even agree on vocabulary to describe the bewildering phenomena that confront Western democracies such as terrorism, populism and the refugee crisis. The current unrest in the global order today has revived ideas about conflict, factionalism and civil war, what the ancients called stasis. They considered it the worst calamity that could befall a society, the dissolution of order and values. But as ancient philosophers, and more modern thinkers like the Founding Fathers, have pointed out, in conflict resides hope and the potential for justice. Hope and justice. The pre-Socratic philosopher Heraclitus once stated, conflict is justice. In this sense, justice emerges from concrete struggles and confrontation. Take, for example, Thomas Jefferson's list of 27 grievances against the King of England in the Declaration of Independence. It is too early to know if recent movements such as Occupy Wall Street, Black Lives Matter, the Women's March and the Hush Me Too campaign will have the same revolutionary force. But they likewise grew out contemporary conflicts that revitalize past struggles for justice. The idea of conflict as justice was well known to the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. Contrary to the one-sided form of rhetoric by which the demagogue swayed the masses, the Socratic philosopher addressed his audience in dialogues. Insights into the question, what is justice, often emerge during the course of bitter exchanges.